Joining us here today. We are so excited to show you around the Lagoon 46. If you don't know me already, I am Marnie Ebeling. I am the marketing manager of the Multihull Group, and today I'll be your host. Unfortunately, I am not able to be on the actual Lagoon 46 with Rowan today, but I'm going to be here in my virtual Lagoon 46, and I will be passing on your questions to Rowan throughout this time. So basically, if you aren't familiar with Zoom webinars, you'll have the opportunity to write your questions down in that little Q&A box down below, and then I will verbally instruct Rowan when he gives me the prompt to ask any of your questions. Hopefully we'll get around to as many of them as possible, so please don't hesitate to ask any of them. So basically I will be highlighting his video in a second, so you'll just see him, but I will be here in the background. But first off, we have the managing director of the Multihull Group, John Kaup, here to introduce the webinar today. So basically, I just wanted to say I hope you enjoy. I'll pass it over to him now.
Hi guys, thank you Marnie, that's great. Thanks for setting this up today, and thank you everybody for joining us here. It's nice to see many of you here. We've got some people actually logging in from the factory in France, so we've got up a little bit early today. So hi guys, and we have some owners here, some potential owners here, and some people waiting for delivery of their boats. So welcome to everybody. We hope this gives you a nice insight into the Lagoon 46. The 46, I'll just to touch on briefly, it's you know, it's the genesis of a lot of successful boats from Lagoon, and sometimes it's a big thing to replicate, to replace what is already a successful model. So, you know, with the 440, you know, up to 16 years ago, we had the first flybridge vessel, first flybridge catamaran ever launched, and then it was a huge success, and it was then taken on by the 450. The 450 sports top continues, and the 450 flybridge combined. Those two boats have been unbelievable. They've eclipsed now the Lagoon 380 in terms of production. So we're up to over 1,000 of these boats launched. So when it came to Martina Torini, who's I guess our sort of the head of design at the factory, it was a huge task to come up with the 46. To take it from to replace what became the #1 catamaran in the world, and I can tell you they've done an amazing job. You're in for a treat today. You're going to have a look at what is the culmination of years and years of design work, years and years of feedback that we're taking on from the owners, and the guys at the factory have done just a fabulous job to create the Lagoon 46. I should touch on how these boats are created. Really, as I say, Martina Torini is the head of our design team at the factory. We have a whole gang of guys and girls doing the designs. And what Martina does is I guess she coordinates some very high-end designers who are really responsible for different parts of the vessel. So, of course, VPLP, the very famous naval architects, have been with Lagoon from day one. Mark Van Pettighem really leads that. And Rowan will be talking to you about what VPLP have implemented now with the new 46 and the new generation of Lagoon. On the interior, you'll see it's a stunning boat on the interior. The finish is very, very high level. And that's very much thanks to the input of Studio Nota, who've just done a lot of little things throughout the vessel to really lift it and give you that luxury feel, which you'll see when Rowan shows you through the boat. And finally, Patrick Le Clément, who comes from the automotive industry, and he's been tasked with all of the exterior. So Rowan will point out to you the way we have now the floating roof on the 46 and the new generation Lagoons. Lots of beautiful styling touches, which gives the Lagoon its very unique and very nice look. So again, thank you guys for setting this up. Thank you everybody for being with us today. And thank you, Rowan, up in Queensland. I'll hand over to you now, mate, and enjoy the show. Thank you.
A lovely time sitting there behind your computer. Hopefully you've stayed very safe over the last few months. Unfortunately, we couldn't have a boat show to show everyone firsthand, but hopefully this will suffice for the moment. We are here in Manly, which is about 20, Manly, Brisbane too, mind you. We're about 20 kilometres from the CBD of Brisbane. So for those who aren't familiar with this area, it's a very big boat harbour, and we are lucky enough to be here in, I wouldn't say warm Queensland at the moment, but it's quite a nice temperament nevertheless. Look, behind me here, we're going to have we do have a 2019 Lagoon 46. This was the first one that has come here to Australia, and hopefully definitely won't be the last one. We've got lots of inquiry, and so far it's been a great success. What I will show you, I'll try and break it down through every segment as I'm walking around the boat, so please ask your questions. Probably towards the end of each little area I get to, I'll try and prompt Marnie to feed me some of those questions, so keep them coming along. Don't get too tricky today. It is live TV. It is a little bit breezy at the moment too, so the wind does become an issue. We'll just try to deal with that as we get through. But anyway, look, we'll take you for a walk down. We're obviously on the port hull here. I really want to show you guys a few big features. As I said, this is a 46-foot boat, so it's 13.99 meters long, and we have a beam of 7.96 meters wide. As typical with these cruising cats and the Lagoon catamarans, we have a draft of around that. Well, for this one is 1.3, which is a pretty standard depth for this sort of boat. As I'll take you along the hull here, you'll definitely see many things that have become a key feature with the new generation Lagoon catamaran. We've got 3 very big hull windows, which is bringing a lot of natural light into the cabin space. Here in the aft is obviously for the aft cabin. The midships window is in between the 2 heads, which on this side it is the owner's version. So the starboard side of this boat is the owner's hull. Port side is a twin cabin arrangement. But straight away you see these very, very distinctive hull windows, which are absolutely stunning when you're looking out. Another really big key feature you'll see and this is quite a nice new design, is they've put a real distinguished line down the hull, which accentuates these windows and gives quite a lot of a modern feel to the hull shape, and obviously gives it that distinctive look. If we just keep working our way forward, quite not sure if you can all see it, but we have a flare on the outer hull. Now, this is quite new for this model. The 450, they had flared the inner hull, but obviously to give more volume inside, we needed to, above the waterline, flare that outer hull. Now, I'll show you when we're inside what that has provided us, and it's a really, really nice feature. A small feature, but also gives quite a nice design look to the hull of the boat, and really modernises the look. As we keep making our way forward, you'll see they've traditionally would have a nice pointy bow on previous models, and sort of traditional boats. They've really softened the look by giving it a bit of a rounded knuckle look, as you wish, and a very vertical bow. Obviously, the vertical bow provides volume on the interior as well. In this here area would be the forward lockers, or what can be a crew quarters, or additional forward cabin if that's what you would choose. But it's really added a very nice, modern, stylish look to the boat, and they've gone away from a lot of the really big, hard, straight lines, and they've put a bit more curvature into the hull, which is quite impressive and stunning to look at. Another little feature, sorry, you can see from here we have a really nice dark wraparound black windows. Once again, a real another way they've modernized the aesthetic appearance of the Lagoon catamaran and brought it to the next level. But what this has sort of done, and the whole idea behind that is to provide a bit of a floating roof look. So as you're looking at it from a distance, it really just makes the superstructure like it's floating on air, which from maybe not at this close-up angle, but it is a really, really nice aesthetic appearance, which does follow all the way to the rear cockpit, with the superstructure above the rear cockpit, literally just floating by some stainless supports. But you'll find with this boat, we've got some clears wrapped around it. These are all done as an aftermarket feature, but when they're not in the down position, it just looks like a completely floating roof. Very modern, nice look. Something I kind of didn't really point out, but even with these big hull windows, there are inserts of smaller opening windows. So Lagoon's DNA and philosophy is to bring in natural light and air. So there's hatches throughout every cabin space. As I said, in the hull windows, there's opening windows to bring in that natural air, which is really important. You don't always want to be running air conditioning, nor does every person want air conditioning. So to have that open is a very, very nice feature. What I'll also probably point out at this point, since we're outside, is you can see the mast. The mast has been brought significantly further aft. We're pretty much in a balance point of the boat, which the philosophy behind this rig change is to give a better balance to the boat. It reduces the hobby horsing that the catamarans can be known for, as one point. The other is, they've given a shorter boom with a taller mast to give a higher aspect ratio of sail area. So you'll see with the 46, we have a nice factory composite hardtop. Once you're on top of there, you have full access to the boom, to the sail area. It's a very nice, manageable sail to be able to handle. The other really key feature, and we'll show this once we're on board the boat, is the jib. We have a full self-tacking head sail on this. It is an absolute pleasure to sail. From here, we'll just come round to the stern of the boat, and we'll point out some features along there. The shrouds that are quite swept back here. those that do want to know, we've got a mast height on this boat of 23.21 meters. So we've got a nice bit of sail area to play with. Look, one of the really, really nice features that came out with this new generation of Lagoons is from the more original models, they had a narrow sugar scoops here in the stern. As you see here, we have a really nice swim platform, transom of the boat. It's very easily accessible when you're side to at the dock. But you know, to be sitting in the Whitsundays, the Caribbean, the Bahamas, putting on your snorkeling gear, the whole family can be across the back here. It's a really nice, functional, easy method to get on and off the boat and utilise. To be on the back here fishing, getting on and off from your dinghy, there's a lot of room to play with and safety to all that. Talking about the dinghy, you can see here it's on a davit system, very similar to the 50 and the 42. There is an option for a hydraulic platform. I know the owner of this boat will be is heavily considering putting on that swim platform, and hopefully it does happen. It looks amazing, but you can have a nice up and down hydraulic platform here, or the traditional davits. You can have a manual. I will show you. This is an electric davit system, which I'll point out as we step on the boat. But it's just a nice functional area this year. You know, you can even see on the rear here we have cleats. So for tying up the boat, everything is nice and easily accessible. Obviously, not every dock is the same or situation, so it's nice that there is cleats in every area, and nice sturdy cleats, which is a nice treat. Obviously, in the rear here, you see we have where the life raft will go and secure. Nice, easily accessible. If you do have to deploy it, God forbid, it's an easy thing to do. I think before we step on the boat, is there, Marnie, do we have any questions or anything for this area?
Yeah, Al has just asked, what is the bridge deck clearance like?
Okay, I'll actually show you this. I'll just grab the camera. My lovely wife has helped me as a camera woman today, but I'll just take it from her and see. So if you look under here, I'll just try if you can see. It might be a bit difficult with the sun. We've got a bridge deck clearance from the Gullwing, which is a 0.75 of a metre. So from its previous model, the 450, I believe it's just under 10 centimetres higher as a bridge deck clearance. Now you can't really see the gull. Oh, there we go. If I just get right down, you can just see the Gullwing there protruding. It's a little bit easier from the bow. But yeah, so to answer your question, our 0.75 of metres off the water. Just pass the camera back over. Any other questions while we're around here?
We're all good for now. Just a reminder to everybody to keep on asking your questions throughout the time.
All right.
Again.
So as I was talking before, the nice thing with this model is they've extended the swim platform from here, so it's a nice, easy step on. Some of the earlier models was a bit of a, there was a built-in step into the hull there. This is nice, safe, easy for young and old. So step aboard. So I'll sort of point out a few things. There's quite a lot of aftermarket items we did here that the owner wanted. So we did these locally here on the Gold Coast. Things like we've got a barbecue rack here with an awesome Weber barbecue. This is all plumbed into the gas system. We have a very, very nice solar array off the rear here. Obviously, you can do this. It's a customized option, but you'll see a very heavy gauge stainless was used. It all follows the davit line. So aesthetics was a very, very important thing for the owner of this boat. and he's absolutely wrapped with this. We've got 4 LG 330 watt panels of solar off the rear, and I think he's going to do more. He loves his technology and things like that. So as you see, this is just a beautiful feature. If anyone does want to know some more about some of these customized options, definitely ask any of the sales staff you're dealing with, but we've got a pretty sound knowledge of all this sort of thing. As we step on, I'll just show you this here. We've got the flat winder. So this is for the electric davit. It's a Harken product. It'll be a bit easy. I'll show you one up on the flybridge, but this is essentially a winch controlled by simple buttons, and this lowers the whole davit system all the way up and down to deploy and retrieve your dinghy. A really nice feature, but I'll show it to you upstairs where it's a bit easier to see. So welcome into the cockpit here. You'll see you have a really, really large area. For those who were probably more familiar with the 450, it did find, actually, I didn't really point that out as we came on, but the steps to get onto this rear cockpit, you essentially have 2 small steps to get on. Where the 450, you came up a lot higher and stepped down. So probably another really big key feature in the new generation Lagoons and immediately this model is the accessibility and thoroughfare into this rear cockpit. It's really nice. It's easy for young and old, but it's a real nice improvement that Lagoon have done. Into this area here, you'll see a very, very generous area. We have a lovely sun lounge, which is very similar to the 450S. We had a nice sort of lounge area here. This is even bigger again. Lagoon have upgraded the cushions, so the plushness of these cushions is a lot thicker than previous models. So it's a very, very nice feature, and it goes throughout the entire boat. So obviously we have nice lounging seating area here, quite a generous across the rear here, nice generous seating area across here. You probably have 8 people sitting across there comfortably. Lovely teak flooring. It's all real teak, all real wood. It's obviously an option, but it's a very nice feature that if you do want the wood look, it doesn't get much better than this. Dining. So this is a fold-out leaf table. There is two options. So the standard is just a fiberglass table, or you can opt to have this teak version, which in the closed position can comfortably seat 6 people. Or what you can do, and I'll just show you here, if you see we have a seat here, push the little button, that comes right back. And then a nice fold out leaf. So essentially now we've turned this table to fit, another 4 people at least. And then this leaves right back too. So you can be sitting, utilising this back seating area and having a dining party for a large group. Really, really nice feature. But as we know, not all the time you're going to have a dozen people on board. Majority of the time it's either just a couple or a family. So you can just put it back, have the seat in the forward position, and you have a full thoroughfare, easy to get around, easy to manage. I think it's a really, really lovely option to consider for those who are looking at the 46. In the way of storage, I know it's always a key thing on all these boats, is you'll see here in the rear cockpit, we have quite a large locker space. Obviously, you can see there's quite a few boxes. It does go forward, it does go aft, and it does go down. So this is a really great little spot to put whatever you want, your tools, your cleaning products, and all your knickknacks. We also have storage under this seat if you take this option of the sliding seat. It's a little locker space, another good spot. Put any wet goods, things like that. It's nice. It's outside here, which is storage is key. A few other features we have here. This was a nice improvement too. So traditionally, with a lot of these catamarans and boats in general, they really give you space for a couple of small little gas cylinders. Here on the 46, we've got a 9 kilo gas bottle, which for this boat is powering the cooktop and the oven inside. And we also plumbed in the barbecue on the back. So for those who love their barbecuing, like most of us, there is an accessibility to run a gas line to here from the aft deck, which I think is quite important. Next to us here, just mind some of this. This is essentially an esky. So when you do want to have those extra big parties, this is a fully insulated cooler box. There is drainage, so you can put your bags of ice in there, throw a few bottles or cans, whatever your pleasure, and fill it up, and it's all ready to go. While we're talking refrigeration and cooling back here, obviously not all the time you're going to have access to an ice machine or bags of ice. We have a nice bar fridge back here. It's a Dometic. It's an 80 litre refrigerator. It also has a little freezer chest in the top of it. But you know, for an 80 litre fridge, it's easy to fill up with your drinks or extra provisions for those long trips. Next door, this is storage on this boat, but you can opt to have an ice maker in there, so it can easily fit. Another nice little option. Obviously, it's a 220 volt ice maker, so something to consider. But that's what that storage space is. This boat doesn't have an option of this, but sorry, on this particular boat, but you can have a sink out here should you want it. So just a shallow sink, but easier for while you're outside and entertaining. And that goes here inside the cut into the Corian countertop. I guess lastly, we've got a rubbish bin. Pretty simple. Throw your rubbish in there, and then from this side here, when it's time to take it to the skip, it's easily pulled out and thrown away. Another, it's a simple feature, but we're all going to have rubbish, and we need to get rid of it and store it while on board. So a nice simple feature. I guess straight away you see here we've got a nice pass through. This has to be cut out for head height, but as you'll see when we get to the flybridge, we're sort of into flybridge area on either side of here, but they have considered tall people. We're about 1.97 meters, I think, when I had the tape measure out through here. So we're just shy of 2 meters for the tall people. And obviously you'll see here too, with the sliding door, it does completely go away. So a double slider, but nice wide entryway. If there is a nice bit of a sea, this does lock in the position and it stays in the open position. But it does bring a lot of air. It pretty much from the saloon, this whole area is really brought into one area. You've got this big door, opening doors. You have this pass through at the galley, so at the sink. So you can either have this side open here, or you can bring the window over the other side and have it opened on the other side. So whatever you're choosing, but it really just a saloon area that follows through. And as you see here with what we've done we've got clears and canvas that wrap around the whole rear cockpit here. So for the owner of this boat, it was very important that he can boat in all climates and in all weather opportunities. So I know he was just out on the weekend. It was bucketing down rain on Sunday trying to get back. His family were comfortably down here. He was upstairs when I show you the flybridge area, and it was completely dry and staying warm, which is important for everyone because we don't all live in and boat in postcard perfect weather. So it's nice to have that opportunity and still stay dry and warm if that's the occasion. Going to go into the saloon next for anyone. I'm going to sort of stagger it, go through the saloon, salon, however you want to pronounce it, down into the owner's cabin, over into the portside accommodation, and then I'll up into the helm, foredeck, and I'll finish off with the engine bay. So for those who want the technical questions of the engine bay, I'll sort of leave that to last because I'm sure there'll be some technical questions come that time. But for this area here, are we any questions or anything I can answer while here?
So anybody that has any questions for you, please write them in now. But Rowan, just while we are here and just while you've given me the opportunity to ask the question, somebody actually did ask just a little bit too late. We'd already moved on from the area, but just said, or she just said, the Gullwing that you just showed under the bridge deck, what is that?
Okay, yeah, good question. Look, the Gullwing, in all essence, is in the centre of the boat. It has almost another hull that comes down. So if you picture a trimaran, but it doesn't come into the water. So what that does is and I like to always think of it as your insurance, should you call it. But number one, it deflects the water. So as you're going through water, and a lot of catamarans and multi-hulls are notorious for underwater slapping under the hull. This gives a deflection of water, should that be the case. The other one, which I think is even more important, is if you had a following sea and you were going down a wave, and obviously you got to sort of slow yourself down at times, but God forbid this is going to happen. You go down, it's a buoyancy pack essentially, and it'll help pop the boat back out. It'll deflect the water as you're going down a wave, and it'll take you out the other side. So I always like to think of it as your insurance card, the Gullwing, as a simple terms. Hopefully that helps. If you ever do see catamarans and you can see them bow in, have a look through the centre hull, because there's a lot of boats that don't have that, and they're a very flat bottom. This is just a really nice piece of comfort for cruising, especially out of the blue water cruising, which all our clients tend to do, which is good to see. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Rowan. I'm sure that would have helped them. But yeah, keep on moving on, and everybody can ask me a question.
So we come in here into the saloon area. As I said, we've got big wide open doors, open window here. It is a very nice, big, large area. As you see here, the upholstery that we went is the grand marble. A very nice plush material. Just so you know, for anyone who's asking, the timber here that we have is an Alpi walnut. So you have the nice dark cabinetry, and then the flooring is is Aspergo. So we do have carpet down on this floor, but I'll show you in the cabin door. Just even here, it's a bit of a grey sort of grey flooring. Is a very nice complement. The walnut is very rich, very elegant. It isn't overbearing being a dark wood, because with the Lagoon windows, we have lots of natural light. So it is a very, very nice nice complement to the boat. The upholstery is absolutely stunning. and there's multiple different upholsteries too, but for this one, it's the marble. As you walk around here, you can really feel how much space you actually have. You know, you've got a massive counter space, lots of preparation area, a sink. This sink's huge. I think, actually, here we go, it's a tape measure. Got a, you know, 1/2 meter sink, 400 wide by 200 deep, you know, for when you're cooking up your crab in your big pots. It's nice to have a big, deep sink to clean up. For people concerned about conserving water, there's a salt water tap and pump, so you can rinse and get all the muck off with salt water and then finish it off with a freshwater tap or whatnot. So as I said, massive big galley area. You've got your cooktop and your oven. There is an option. This is the standard option. The Force 10 is the upgraded cooktop and oven, where it's just slightly bigger. I think you get a 4-burner with the Force 10. While we're in this area, we'll start with the refrigerators. This is a really nice. So this is the upgraded fridges on this boat. This side, well, we'll start here we've got a double drawer fridge, which is a really, really nice refrigeration. There's my lunch in there. Heaps of space, which is quite cool. You can opt to have, there's a few different options, and I probably won't get too much into it, but you can opt to have a big fridge here, another fridge here, and a freezer, or you can go fridge, and then if you pop over this side, you'll see, so it's an isotherm fridge, and then you've got nice big drawers, everything you can stack, and heaps of room for all your frozen goods. I think, you know, having the double drawer fridge, the shelving for your freezer, it's a really good use of space and to fit everything economically. Talking of space, we've got lots of cupboards. So you've got 4 really big cupboards across the top here. We have 2 more above the TV. Obviously under sink space here. Nice big deep drawers. 3 deep drawers here. Now, for those who don't like washing up, I'm one of those people, you can have a dishwasher down on this bottom drawer. Now, it's not a big dishwasher, but I must admit, for a small little dishwasher, it packs a lot of punch. I've definitely had a couple of dinner parties on some of these boats, and who have opted to take that. And surprisingly, what you can fit in those small little dishwashers, it's definitely something to consider. Bit more pantry space in the lower cupboards here. These are a little bit shallower, but it's a good spot to use as pantry space. And under this carpet here, we have 2 underfloor lockers that I sort of consider as a pantry. Put your dry goods in there, drinks, things like that. Obviously, if you didn't have carpet in here, it's an easily accessible space to open. But a really handy spot to put canned goods, things like that, and drinks. Storage continuing on. This is quite a nice little place. Under here, under this seating ottoman, you've got, it is quite full, but a really nice deep storage area. Good to put cases of wine in. There's never enough place on a boat for cases of wine, but you can stack quite a lot in there. And then followed by underneath this settee area, you have more storage. So for those who like air conditioning or want air conditioning, the air conditioning is situated in the back section of this settee. And then over here on your starboard outboard side is where you have some additional storage. You know, obviously under the seating area, but it's still quite decent storage area. What else do we have around here? Obviously, all the accents of lights all through here. Look, you can't miss this whole area. It really is a lovely, you know, you've got curtains for when it's a bit too sunny or bright, but like it is such a lovely, warm, open feeling here. I think one of the nicest attributes of this 46 now in this area is this sash window. It's an option. It is an option outside the traditional little opening hatches. But as you see here, nice big opening window. It has multiple positions depending on the weather. In the down position, you know, for those drinking gin and tonics out front, a really nice easy pass through to the forward seating area. But it's a lovely little attribute to bring in your natural air. You know, if the kids want to run through to get up to the front quickly, but it's a really cool feature. So I think before we sort of go down into the next area, does anyone have any questions for here?
So Kyle has just asked, how would you compare the volume in relation to the 450?
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. Look, I think this area on its own has one of the biggest growth areas from the 450. Now, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I'm thinking it's just a crack over 5 square meters bigger, this area, than the 450, which is quite a staggering amount considering we've literally fallen this boat into the same footprint as the 450. So it's a really nice, and you do feel it as you walk on it. It's a huge area. So I think it's just a crack over 5 square meters. So and you see it in everywhere. Down in the back cockpit here, the aft cockpit I think's about 2.5 square meters bigger than the 450. The hull space is I think we're a similar sort of figure, about 2.5 square meters per hull more than the 450. So it's quite a fair amount all over, as I said, considering you're in the same footprint as the 450. Something I didn't really talk about was over here the nav station or workstation, whatever you want to call it. So we don't have a lower helm position nav station here, but what you can have, if you do want the lower screen, there's a housing for it, and you'll see also with this boat, I didn't point out, we have the elegance line. This boat was opted for, as you see, all the nice leather trims. You'll see a lot more down into the cabin space, but which adds to sort of the richness and homely feel of this boat. But you would have a nice leather wrapped housing that you have a 12-inch B&G Zeus 3 screen on. So that is an option you can have down here. And obviously you have your nav table for all your knickknacks and whatnot. You've got your controls, all your monitoring's done via this Shiver system here, both your DC and AC. So for your batteries, your water, your shore power generator is all done through the Shiver system. And then we have, it's not turned on, we're not plugged into shore power for the air conditioning, but then you can have your air conditioning control here as well. But, you know, all in all, you know, as I'm sure everyone likes to have their really nice, comfortable house. Lagoon and the designers have really brought that comfort level into the Lagoon 46, which you know, you can see and feel. Alrighty, I'm going to continue down into the owner's cabin. Any last questions before we make that transition?
All good, Rowan. Keep on going through to the cabins. Thanks.
All right. As you see here, we've got a very, very nice, comfortable owner's cabin here. straight away as you walk in, we have a lounge seating area here. Doubles up as a workstation. Should you take this as the standard option, having the workbench here. You can opt now to have some more storage back here, a 3-drawer system. But either way, they're both stunning options. Coming back to the bed here, it's a queen size bed. The really nice, unique thing with the Lagoon 46 is every bed is a queen size bed. There's no difference between the bed here, the bed on the port hull, or what's traditionally the forward hull is, the forward cabin is the one who chooses the shortest straw. On the Lagoon 46 and the 50, but just looking at this boat, every cabin is obviously outside the owner's cabin, but no one has to fight for a cabin, especially if you're a guest on board. A really nice feature, and I'll show you that once we're over there. But plenty of storage. We've got storage drawers under the bed, nice hanging closets and cupboard space here inboard. Nice deep drawers outboard here. Obviously, we've got shelving for anything you want to put on there. Once again, you see the nice leather accents they've brought in here, all into the bookshelves here. Really just finishes the boat off and makes it a very nice homely finish. Next to the bed, you'll see we've got some stainless and leather, to put your knickknacks in. Cup of water, glass of water next to your bed while you're sleeping. And we've got USBs, power points. They're scattered everywhere. I think on this boat alone we have 20 outlets on scattered throughout the boat. So I don't think I've got 20 power points in my house, so it's pretty good. But storage-wise, as I said, we've got storage here, more storage further forward. But what's quite nice, obviously, when you do have guests here, is being able to close them off and get away from them. So we have this privacy door. The privacy door, obviously, is your divider. Have the kids over on the other side, or your guests, or if everyone wants to party on, you can just close up and go to bed. Plenty of head height here. We've got, as you see, we've got I think we're just over 2 meters of head height here. I'll tell you exactly. 6'3" is what we do have is the lowest point of head height. And you'll also see in the shower too, we've got a huge amount of space there. So for the people who are tall, and that's the lowest head height as well. So I'm 5'10". You've got plenty through here. But I think, and something I probably didn't point out, nobody likes making a bed on a boat. And on here, you've got, you need to get up in the middle of the night, go do a pee, or when you've got to make the bed, you can, they're easy to make. And you'll see, even with the other side, making a bed is not a chore anymore. It's quite easy. And as anyone who's spent any time on especially a monohull, but boats in general, making a bed is a feat no one wants to do. So really nice that they've still been able to provide a queen size bed, but still have a walk around and you're not having to climb over each other just to get out. I will point something out while we have this security privacy door closed. Nicely hidden away behind that privacy door is a big cupboard. Now inside this cupboard we've got a lot of breakers, a lot of electronics and stuff. Now all this stuff is so easily accessible. Should anything happen or you're looking to do upgrades and things like that, everything is labelled very, very well. Now I'm sure we've all been on boats where you're trying to figure out what wires what. They really have done a great job at the factory at Lagoon. And as I said, it's a French company, but everything's in English. So it's It's really good to see. I'll just shut this. Now coming forward, we have another cupboard here, some electronics. This is more DC orientation, but everything's nice and easily accessible for any future upgrades. And moving further forward again, we're back into some nice cupboard space. Maybe a little bit difficult for both of us to point this out. But, yeah, we've got a big plastic tote box here. Lots of space here as well. The next cupboard, it's a little bit smaller, but you know, you've still got another cupboard space to put things. What I think is very nice with this boat is the accessibility. So if I open this up quickly, and you may not be able to see in there, but you're looking straight at valves there. Now that it's just easily accessible that you can work the valves, open and close them so they don't seize up over time. Down the track, if you have to do any servicing, it's all there and easy to get to. And there's multiple areas to get to them too. It's not just that forward front panel. I'll come in here into the bathroom straight away. As you can see, I can just touch the windows and the wall. That's how big of a shower we have. Now, a lot of this is due to having that outside flared hull, which has given us a bit more room, but it's also just a big roomy boat. So as you see, we've got a big, nice shower space here, nice height of the shower head. Obviously, it's a removable shower head. And when you're in here, there's plenty of space. Very nice feature. And you also see it in the guest accommodation. Obviously, they're not going to have a shower as big as this, but it's very, very ample for your guests. With the elegance line here, you'll see there is the nice finishes of Korean, the Korean accent on the vanity. The Korean flooring here in the shower. It is a lift-up Korean piece, so you can clean underneath there when, you know, for doing the house duties. Plenty of storage and cupboard space, all scattered throughout the bathroom area here, behind the mirror, obviously all under the vanity. And there's another, just want to step in a little bit. Another good size, tall cupboard space here for things. Now, while we are in here, I'll just back up a little bit. You'll see this is quite an important feature for people who are wanting to spend time on board. This is Candy. Now, Candy is a washer and dryer. So as you see, Candy's the brand, it's not her name, but it's an 8 kilo washer, very ample. Obviously, we're always going to have towels, bedding, things like that. Should you want to not have to find a laundromat, it's a nice option to have on board, and they're quite economical too. Obviously, there's multiple settings, just like your one at home. These hull windows that I pointed out earlier, obviously, we've got a nice lot of light that can come in here, and you can also have your privacy. So these are the ocean air blinds. Obviously, at night time, you may want to close them, but while at the dock especially. But you know, you've got plenty of light here. You've got an opening hatch, so you can easily vent any of the steam, moisture while you're showering in here. But you know, small feature, but a very nice thing. Probably one of the standout features, and I may just take this camera from here, with the Lagoon 46 is a separate toilet, for those who were wondering where it was. So traditionally in the past, there's been a combined head of shower and toilet. Here they have separator, which is really nice, and an ample amount of room for including big people and small. So nice Corian vanity once again with the elegance line. That's a nice feature that you do get. Ample sink and to wash your hands, and obviously there's more storage obviously below the vanity, and then you have a sliding mirror, so you have space on either side. Let me just see if we've got anything else. Any other questions or anything while we're in this area?
Yeah, so you actually answered one of them. Sam asked if there was a washing machine on board, so you answered that one. All good. But Carl was asked again another question. Where are the air conditioning vents in the owner's cabin?
Ah, good. Okay, so we've got multiple units in this boat. Under this seat here is one of the systems. So we have air that can come out through the vents here. We have vents on either side of the bed, so which is quite nice that you can be in bed, have the air conditioning going, and it's not blowing directly on you, but cooling down. But something. So it's over here, if you can see that, and with the stainless accent around the vent. But what I will show you, which is quite tricky and cool, is we've got a vent here in the toilet. Just panning around. We do have a vent in the toilet, but I might just take the camera and show you. We have another one in the head. So what's quite cool is you could turn this to heating, especially if you're in a colder climate, and hop out of the shower and still remain warm. So that's a really nice option here on the 46. In the saloon area, there's vents all around the couch area and the settee, and also in the other cabins. I can point them out as I'm passing through, but simple things I'm just noticing now. You've got USBs at your workstation, PowerPoints if you want to set this up with computers. Obviously, you've got your reading lights, things like that. They've really thought of everything here on this, from the factory, without having to do things aftermarket. Make my way over to the other hull. Anything more while we're here?
So there was another question, but maybe we can ask it when we get back, answer it when we get back into the cockpit. But well, I guess it's just another. Stefan is asking. We were talking about local upgrades earlier, but how and who does this when you do Euro pickup?
In Europe, okay, that's a good question. Look, in Europe, we've got quite a lot of trades that we can utilise there. Le Sable, where the boats up to the 46, where they're launched, we've got some great electricians. There's trimmers, fabricators. You can pretty much do I shouldn't say what you want, but you've got a lot of options there. And between the whole team, we would steer you the right direction. We're not going to say that it can't be done there, or can be done if it can't be. Your other options there's some other really good trades down the coast as well. A lot of people tend to stop into Portugal and into Gibraltar along the way and get customised work down there, which is good. But I think to get you on your way and get started, Le Sable is we're quite spoilt with the trades we do have there. Obviously, it's where the Vendée Globe launches from there. So the harbour is a marine harbour. It really is. The whole town's built around the port, essentially. So yeah, but look, I guess customisation, things like that over there. It's best to chat with one of your sales staff, one of our sales staff, I should say, and figure out what your needs and wants really are. All right, I'm going to continue on to the other side. We'll do that one just a little bit quicker because I'm sure I know we're already sort of a fair while in. Then we can finish up outside. Come with me. I'll start off with this forward cabin because realistically the aft cabin is always a nice cabin. And this is sort of where on most boats is as I said, the one who picks the smallest straw. Another queen size bed that is the same dimension as the rear bed and the owner's bed. So really nice. You don't have a full island bed. It's a partial island bed, but you know, something's got to be a trade-off. We're still in the bow area, so but it's still quite easy to make the bed. Once again, you've got your air conditioning vents blowing away from you, so it's you're not getting blown on. You know, I've definitely been on boats where you're getting freezing cold because they're getting blown on all night, but that's a nice option there. But yeah, the partial island bed is a very, very nice attribute to this model. You'll also find that the toilet in the forward cabin is just as fine as, and squeeze now, we're getting a little bit tighter area, but you know, the forward head in here is the same size as the aft head. So a really nice feature for your guests, you know, like you want to be comfortable that your guests and friends want to come, but you don't want to make it too comfortable that they won't leave. So, you know, a really, really nice feature on the Lagoon 46. All right, let's step through. Obviously, as you see as we're walking through, there's lots of access into your bilge spaces and whatnot. There's no real need to probably get into that unless anyone really wants to see it, but it's just a bilge. But you know, cupboard space for the forward cabin, cupboard space here for your knickknacks, and then more cupboard space all through your inner hull here. And then just like your owner's cabin, you have a nice, nice amount of cupboard space here. Once again, the head, unless anyone really wants to see this toilet, it's another good size head, just as fine as the one in the forward cabin. Big hull windows, once again, everybody gets their nice hull windows, so a really nice feature of bringing light into this cabin. I will add actually something while we're here. So under these beds, we've got at the far end, we've got our diesel tanks. You've got two 520-litre diesel tanks, which is quite nice. We do have, as I said, there's a drawer space in the front of this bed, and then you'll find there's a big void space on the port side. We house the hot water tank. Under the owner's bed, we have a massive void space, so quite nice for things that you just want to get rid of and stick under the bed, and you know, not have to gain access to too often. But all right, we'll make our way upstairs. Just grab something. Apologies, guys. Like anything in live TV, there's always an issue, and that's my phone battery getting low. So I have to go off the gimbal and plug it into a power pack. So this is a really cool place to be. Got the flybridge here. Super comfortable. Super comfortable. Right now, obviously, it's 4 o'clock, getting pretty close to cocktail hour. It's a very nice place for everyone to come together, have a chat, hang out. But realistically, while you're out sailing, this is where the majority, you know, where everyone's going to hang out. I know there's a lot of people who talk about segregation of the helm and the lower deck and whatnot. So far, people that I know who have the flybridge, this has never been an issue because everybody comes up here and hangs out. So a really, really nice place to be. I'll point out some features with this, which is quite cool. So the helm seat is fixed. The co-pilot or whoever wants to sit up here has a nice backrest, or if you want to make this area a bed area, you've got this whole place to chill. Now, obviously, these backrests go up and down as well, but this is a lovely area. I actually sailed this boat up from Sydney at the beginning of the year, and we didn't leave up here. We had a little bit of rain on the way up, but we didn't have the clears at that point, so I would have slept up here. But this is just such a lovely area to hang out and lounge while underway. A little feature I want to point out, as I talked earlier, we have the flat winder for downstairs for the davits. We have a flat winder here. If you take the electric winch option, you'll see you'll get the flat winder, the Harkin flat winder. So you'll see if we can, me just pressing the button is literally taking that traveller all the way across. A really, really, really lovely option. So complement that with the self-tacking head sail that you'll see up front here. And sailing is quite a pleasure. There's no, it's a one-man operation, or one-person operation, sorry, to tack this boat, to manoeuvre this boat, and sail. All the winches all come back here, nice, simple, to the helm position. This is obviously, we've got the electric winches, 2-speed. If you don't take the electric winch options, you'll still have one with the Essentials pack, which is going to take your halyards, but you know, your reefing systems. It's a single line reefing, so essentially you don't have to leave this helm when you want to reef the main, which is a really, really nice thing. Obviously, we're only putting reefs in when it gets windier, so you know, some boats you used to have to go up and try and hook it on the mast end. Everything's done from here. One line goes up the leach and the luff of the mainsail. A really, really great option. Not option. It's a standard feature. So 3 reefs. Everything else from your electronics, sailing equipment is all done here. A nice 16-inch Garmin screen. It's not Garmin, apologies. B&G. So B&G, everything's B&G, which is quite nice. Very easy to operate and user friendly. These things can do a hell of a lot more than what we use them for, but you know, you can get everything from your radar, weather overlay, many options, I think, and even, you know, your reversing cameras can all come through here, which is very nice, and control your stereo, your speakers up and down. A nice feature. And you know, obviously we're here under a hardtop. This is a factory version hardtop, composite hardtop. It is made to be climbed up from the ladders off the rear. You can access the boom and sail. It's a nice feature to have if considering the Lagoon 46. And obviously with some of our other models, it's a feature, an option as well. But right now we have another living space that's complemented from the downstairs aft deck area. We can walk up from the cockpit up to here in safety. Safety is a big key thing, as all our guys at Blue Water cruising, they can walk all the way up. It's in the middle of the night, you're short-handed, you don't have to feel compromised by walking out to the side decks just to come here to the flybridge. So we are massive believers of the flybridge and love it. Any questions, Marnie, while we're in this area?
Yeah, I've got some questions. While I do that, do you want to when I ask the question, do you want to pop it on charge?
Yeah, I might do that. Apologies, guys. I will try and keep it a bit steadier, but
No worries. bound to happen with this amount of time. But basically, first of all, I suppose I'll let you know that Stuart has said thanks for the walk. Very informative. It was great to see. We've also had Sam ask, do you or TMG have any first-hand experience sailing on the 46, which I know you did touch on already. Yes, you did. You and Joe did the trip from Sydney to Brisbane. If you wanted to touch on that any more, otherwise there's two other questions. So did you want to talk any more about your experience? I'll tell you what the other questions are, and then maybe you can answer them.
Yep.
So we've got Stefan who wants to know maybe you could show a bit more of the visibility from the helm and how that kind of works. And then also, I guess you could talk on this about your first-hand experience. How high does the 46 point with the mast center of effort further back?
Yeah, okay. Look, a few good questions there. So firstly, the sailing experience from Sydney up to the Gold Coast, where we've got our Queensland office there. We're at the Boatworks too. For anyone who is passing through, make sure you say hello. And there isn't a better pit stop than the Boatworks. We'll plug there for the Boatworks. But look, it was a lovely trip. The weather wasn't that great, I'm not going to lie. We hoped it would have been better. But all in all, there was three of us on board: Joe, myself, and Paul. And it was a joy, you know. We had the wind up behind us the majority of the way. We did have to pull into Port Stephens for one night because it got the wind turned to a northerly for a day, which we expected. But it was an absolute pleasure. The boat sailed well. We didn't have to point that trip. I must admit, I haven't actually pointed this boat, but I think I would have to, maybe John could even answer. I think John later, if you're listening towards the end, you could tell me how high, if you managed to point this. I know you and Joe have sailed it a few times. Maybe John can chime in on that question. But look, it sailed well. We had the code 0 out for the majority of the time. We were averaging 8 to 10 knots majority of the way. We weren't pushing it. It was obviously a delivery to get the boat up there. So every night I think we sailed most of the time with at least a reef in it. But the code 0 is a massive compliment. If I could tell anybody considering a catamaran, definitely get the rigging, the code 0 rigging, because what you will get is you'll get the extra winch here, you get the halyard for the code 0, you get the bow prodder that's up front. If you don't want to invest in a sail from day one, that's fine, but I would encourage everyone to at least get the hardware. It'll save a lot of headaches down the line. Sorry, did I miss a question as well, Marnie? The visibility, yeah. Okay, look, very good one. So I'm in the centre of the boat here, and we're sort of in the centre of the boat fore and aft, which is quite nice. So right now, I have 100% visibility on each bow of the boat. I can easily see both port and starboard. I can see the hulls. I will admit, trying to see the transom can be a little bit tricky. It's not difficult to take a step to, especially the port side or the starboard. I've docked this boat many a times before we put cameras on this boat, but it might be a nice thing to consider. The factory do a Navico branded camera, little very nicely discreet cameras that hide up in the aft area of the coach roof, which you can have come over on your screen. Probably not a bad thing to consider. It's not a big investment, but overall, the visibility is fine. You know, you will learn where the back of your boat does come. You know, you'll start feeling the surrounds of your boat. But you know, everything from, I reckon, 3/4 back there all the way forward, 100% visibility. A really good thing, and that's sort of what you do get when you're raised up like this at the helm. A really nice feel, and being high too. What's quite nice, and this is from my experience traveling a lot around reef systems and all that. Having a fly bridge, being able to look down into the water is something that's a big plus. I think most boat owners will at some point be cruising around reefs. With Sundays, you can get right into lagoons. It's still very nice and probably worthwhile to have someone up on the bow guiding you in, but you can have confidence that at the helm that you can see through the water from an elevated position. I think it's a massive plus for a fly bridge model boat. Hope that answered your question.
Yep, that's all good. Oh, we've just got another question come in. Oh, just another comment, sorry. Margot has just said, nice work from the camera woman.
She's trying to hold a steady hand and have a power pack as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think you've covered off quite a lot. I know that we've gone a little bit over time, but if anybody else has any questions, to get them in nice and quick. Otherwise, is there anything else that you want to show us, maybe from the bow angle just quickly?
Yeah, I'll just quickly walk around the bow. I'll scoot through there, and then I'll just quickly poke into the engine bay. I'll probably won't try and go into too much unless anyone has specific questions in there, as I know we're going a little bit over time.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Once again, as you do see through here, all these opening hatches, I do have them open, but they all point forward to bring in the natural airflow when obviously you have to be pointing into. Well, it's pretty comfy up here, I've got to say. A beer or a glass of wine would be quite ideal now, but to give you a bit of an overview here, under this side here, we have the generator. You can take that option, 11 kVA Onan generator, very powerful to run all your air conditioning units. We have water that's positioned across the bow here. And on this side here, this is all storage where I'm heading to. Opening hatches, we have, this is all a big open void. You have your windlass, 1700 watt quick windlass for your anchor. As you can see up front, we've got the hardware for the code 0. I probably won't worry about going into it, but as I mentioned, you've got these two big lockers on either side. They're huge. They're huge. They can be a cabin. You can sleep comfortably in them. I think they're just over 2 meters long and quite deep. A lovely area to throw your things, your kids, whatever you want to do, but it's a nice, easy option. Let's give you a quick glance anyway, how big it is. Here's the code 0 sail. All right. So, as you see, any questions up here? We'll keep making our way back to the engine bay.
All good. Keep going.
Nice big wide sides. Nice handhold to walk around. Obviously, your stanchions, everything are fine, but that's a really nice, safe feature for anyone getting around these decks. Getting into the engine compartment is quite simple. As you'll see, for anyone who needs to consider the maintenance costs down the line, it is a very easy engine to work on. Yanmar's 57 horsepower, standards 45. It's a worthy upgrade to get the bigger engine, but you know, everything is really easily accessible. To change oil, to service the boat later on. A very important thing to consider. Battery down here on the starboard side, we have the house batteries. So we have 640 amp AGM batteries in 3 positions here. Engine crank battery, Battery switches are all done from here too. But look, speak to the mechanics. It's a very easy boat to service and an easy engine really. Like, it's got to be something to consider. Buying a boat is future cost. So Yanmar, it's a naturally aspirated engine, gives you plenty of oomph to drive. Should you need to outrun a storm or just sort of get home a little bit quicker. But it's just a nice, obviously on the port side we have the other engine bay. This has a bit more in it. It has the hydraulic steering for the autopilot. And then the batteries, as I said, some chargers, Christec chargers, fuses, things like that. But pretty simple engine bay. Any questions for the engines, guys?
No questions from the engine so far. Feel free at this point in time, anybody else. But sorry, I just got a question saying, does a thruster come as an option, or is it recommended in high wind areas?
Okay, look, there isn't an option for the 46 for a bow thruster, but as I've said to quite a few people, you got propellers that are so far apart with this, and the boat tracks very nicely. To be able to maneuver this boat and to spin it and get it into places is quite simple. I do know people who have put bow thrusters in aftermarket. From the 50-foot and beyond, there is the option for a bow thruster, but for the 46, I think it's just worth getting out there and figuring it out, because I think you'll find having the engines and the propellers so far apart, these boats are incredibly manoeuvrable and can get in and out of tight spaces. And you learn to work together as a team. We've got people, I know there's a chap who's getting around on a Lagoon 500 on his own, and I've seen it on 52s, but I think there's days that you're going to want a little bit of help, but I think that if you do want to add a thruster down the line, it's something to consider down the line. I wouldn't think it's necessary from conception.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Rowan. No more questions here. Is there anything else you want to talk to us about while on the boat?
Look, I think I'm sort of wrapping things up here. I do know I've talked a little bit longer than planned. I welcome any further questions or whatnot. I hope everyone's enjoyed it. You know, this is an absolutely stunning boat, and we're very thankful that the owners allowed us on board today to go through and show you this stunning example of Lagoon 46. For anyone who's considering it, consider it. I don't think I've heard anybody ever wish they didn't buy a boat, didn't take a boat out of Europe and do the trip home. Definitely, we're going to be follow our stories online. We're always putting heaps of content out there. So for anyone who, I saw the story of the chap getting around on his Lagoon 500. Read that story for anyone who's a bit dubious about short-handed sailing. It's these boats are incredibly simple to sail as a short-handed crew, but you can take a bigger boat or a smaller boat. It's really up to you guys. But hope everyone had a great day and enjoyed themselves and took a bit out of this, or hopefully a lot out of this webinar. For me, I think I'm wrapping things up, ready to have a drink of water. My parched throat, but any other questions before we finish up?
We're all good. Thank you so much, Rowan. I'll just wrap up from here if that's all right.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Really, really have appreciated all of your questions. And thank you again for joining. It's so great to have so many people here and so many people interested. I just wanted to make a comment. I know that Rowan just touched on the fact that we've got a whole lot of blogs online. So don't ever hesitate to go online, go to our blog section and read any of them. But also on top of that, I've just started, well, the team, we've all just started producing an Inspire and Learn series. So basically, we've already run through anchoring. We've run through a bit about documenting the document maneuverability. So that will actually go through a lot of the techniques that you could use on the 46 for maneuverability without having that bow thruster. And then also, so next up we'll have actually coming into the dock for part 2. We've got stuff on maintenance, sail rig and sailing, and stuff about the engine. We've got it all lined up, so we'll be coming out sort of monthly or a little bit less, so it'll be coming out of the next few months, and that's going to be super informative to, I guess, teach you guys how you would actually be able to use your Lagoon if you were sailing locally or around the world. So I really hope that you guys enjoy those. Make sure you subscribe either to our mailing list or to YouTube, or just check out the blog. But anyway, thank you so much. Awesome to see you all here. And thanks again, Rowan, and to the owner. We really appreciate it. Awesome. See you guys. Bye.